Una, violation yung ginawa ni Donald Trump. Kasi yung naming nung dating Department of War into the Department of Defense was an act of Congress. So I'm just hoping, expecting, lalo na siguro kung magkakaroon ng midterm election, babalik ulit yung mga Democrats sa Congress, questionin yan. Kasi marami talaga sa ginagawa ni Trump talagang unconstitutional. Lumabas na dyan yung tariff, di ba? Naglabas yung isang federal court sa Amerika na hindi constitutional yung pag-impose ng tariff kasi only the US Congress could really impose tariff. Tignan lang natin. I will adopt a wait and see attitude regarding sa ginawa niyang pag-name. Kasi yung name na Department of Defense was of course inscribed in the National Security Act of 1947. That was of course a law that was passed by the United States Congress in 1947. Tingnan natin.
Sa sinasabing pagpayag daw ng Pilipinas na makapunta dito sa Pilipinas, yung Foreign Affairs Head ng Taiwan. Una nang sinabi ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. na nire-respeto at kinikilala ng gobyerno ang One China policy. Yet pumalag itong China dahil sa pagpayag na makapasok po sa Pilipinas itong kanilang Foreign Affairs Department. Ano po masasabi niyo po dito, Doc?
Well, yung foreign minister naman ng Taiwan pumunta dito not as a foreign minister. In the first place, hindi natin siya nire-respeto. Hindi natin siya nire-recognize at foreign minister kasi katulad nga na sinabi ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Lazaro, we do not recognize Taiwan as a sovereign independent state. So nung pumasok siya dito, tinignan lang siya bilang isang membro ng isang trade delegation. Kasi we don't recognize his what we call a portfolio. We don't look at him as a diplomat. So he came here probably on a ordinary tourist passport. So he came here as an ordinary Taiwanese passport holder, not as a foreign minister of the Republic of China, or what we call Taiwan. It's not a violation of the One China policy because the One China policy allows, of course, for people-to-people relationship. It does not allow, ang pinaka-essence talaga, no? Let's explain, no? What is a One China policy? The One China policy is, of course, based on what is called the One China principle, na pag gusto mo magkaroon ng diplomatic relations sa China, kaya sasabihin sa'yo ng China, you have to basically subscribe to our One China principle. Dalawang elemento yan, dalawa. Number one, you recognize only One China, meaning yung mga diplomats mo, yung embassy mo, dapat nasa Beijing at hindi dapat sa Taipei. And of course, your diplomats would only interact with their Chinese diplomats. They will have to ignore yung mga Taiwanese diplomats because anyway, you don't recognize them. So we subscribe to that, no? Pero yun pa lang ang element, of course, yung tinatawag natin, we consider Taiwan as a province of China. I don't think yung bago nating formulation of One China policy still subscribe to that. Kasi madaming bansa, no? Madaming bansa sa buong mundo na hindi nagsasubscribe dun sa pangalawang elemento ng tinatawag nating One China policy. They simply acknowledge, but they don't accept the fact that the assumption that Taiwan is a province of China. So let's be very clear about the One China policy. And of course, ang ni-raise pa, I will raise again yung sagot dyan ni Secretary Gibo Teodoro. There is such a thing as a One China principle. Ito yung pinaiiral ng China na very strict, no? Pero there's about 208 One China policies. What do you mean by this? Yung mga bansa, when they adopt yung tinatawag nating One China principle, they do it on the basis of their national interests. No? Isang example dyan, ang Estados Unidos. Ang Estados Unidos, no, US, have what we call a One China policy. They recognize Beijing as the legitimate China, pero at the same time, they pass what you call the Taiwan's Relations Act. They don't recognize Taiwan as a sovereign state, but they ensure that Taiwan could defend itself against China. So matatawa ka, no? Binibentahan nila ng armas for so many years and recently, binibigyan pa nila ng military grants. No? Ayan yung elemento na tinatawag natin. Kumbaga, babalikan natin, no? Yung, if I have to use a biblical term, no? Meron of course, gospel dyan, tinatawag natin si Christ, no? Pero alam naman natin madaming interpretation ng gospels. Di po ba? Kaya madami tayong mga religion, the denominations that call themselves Christians, pero iba-iba yung interpretation nila sa gospel. Ganon din yan sa tinatawag nating One China Principle versus of course the 208 One China policies. Yung sagot ni Secretary Gibo Chidoro sa China, no, ayan yung elemento. Ina-assert ni Secretary Gibo Chidoro, we are entitled to our own One China policies in contrast to what China prescribes as a One China principle. We cannot accept everything na inaano ng China. Ika nga.
Opo. Dito naman po, Doc, di ko lang alam kung imbitado ba ang Pilipinas during that Victory Day ng China. Dapat po ba o hindi dapat present ang presidente natin doon sa mismong Victory Day ng China? Considering marami din po mga Southeast Asian countries na nandun at parang kagaya din sa relasyon natin sa Pilipinas at China, yung Vietnam, nandun din po. Pero may sigalot din yan sila sa issue dyan pa rin po sa South China Sea. Your take dito po.
Well, Vietnam, of course, hindi yan maghihindi sa China. Although may sigalot sila, kontrolado pa rin ng Vietnam ng Communist Party. Eka, di ba? I don't think inimbitahan tayo eh. So kung hindi ka inimbitahan, bakit ka pupunta? I don't think inimbitahan tayo. It's by invitation only.
Opo. Pero kung halimbawa may imbitasyon, okay ba o hindi okay na nandoon ang ating kinatawan?
Well, unang-una of course, ano ba yung naratibo ng Communist Party ng People's Republic of China? Kiniklaim nila doon sa kanilang victory parade na single-handedly tinalo ng Communist Party of China at of course yung Red Army, yung Japan during the Second World War. Ini-ignore nito yung the fact na actually, nung titignan mo yung nangyari during the Second World War, yung Chinese Communist Party and of course yung Red Army niya, nasa northern part lang ng China. Of course, they were launching a very active guerrilla war, pero yung large part ng anti-Japanese resistance ng the Chinese people were being waged by the nationalists, the Gumindang. And of course, we know for a fact, nung after na Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, the bulk of the fighting, of course, happened in the Pacific. No? Kung pumunta ka dyan, ini-ignore mo yung reality na yung largest naval battle nang nangyari dito sa Leyte Gulf. Kasi doon sa parade nila, ini-ignore nila, for example, yung role ng United States. Na alam naman natin na talagang tumalo sa Japan ay si MacArthur at si Nimitz. Yung of course, the Americans launched that massive operation. Ini-ignore nila yung role ng mga Australias. Ini-ignore nila yung role ng New Zealand. Ini-ignore nila yung role natin. Na in fact, yung major land battles nangyari dito sa Pilipinas after the landing ni General MacArthur in 1944. In a way, that parade, that commemoration is a big lie. Kasi ayun nga yung pinaka-essensya niyan. Tinalo ng Communist Party and of course yung Red Army nila, yung Japanese single-handedly during the Second World War. And of course, ito nga yung sinasabi ko rin, that parade itself shows us yung palagi sa ating sinasabi ng mga Vietnamese, no? The commemoration of the war has supposed to be peace. It's about ending the bloodiest conflict in human history that killed nearly 60 million people. And ewan ko kung natatandaan niyo yung speech ni General Douglas MacArthur on board the USS Missouri. Nandun nung kapirmahan surrender na Japan. Sabi ni MacArthur, dapat talagang maging peaceful na yung mundo dahil nga the war was very bloody. Pero ano yung gawa ng mga Chino dyan sa parada nila? Pinakita nila yung sandatahang lakas nila. You're talking about peace, but why are you showing your massive military and weapons? So what does that parade tell us? Di ba?
Opo. Sir, huli na lang topic, sir. Bago ko ibalik kay partner Jay. Dito po sa naging hakbang ng Trump administration na palitan yung kanilang Department of National Defense into Department of War. Anong nakikita nyo po rito? May epekto din ba ito sa ating bansa bilang close ally ng Amerika?
Violation yung ginawa ni Donald Trump. Kasi yung naming nung dating Department of War into the Department of Defense was an act of Congress. So I'm just hoping, expecting, lalo na siguro kung magkakaroon ng midterm election, babalik ulit yung mga Democrats sa Congress, questionin yan. Kasi marami talaga sa ginagawa ni Trump talagang unconstitutional. Lumabas na dyan yung tariff, di ba? Naglabas yung isang federal court sa Amerika na hindi constitutional yung pag-impose niya ng tariff kasi only the US Congress could really impose tariff. Tignan lang natin. I will adopt a wait and see attitude regarding sa ginawa niyang pag-name. Kasi yung name na Department of Defense was of course inscribed in the National Security Act of 1947. That was of course a law that was passed by the United States Congress in 1947. Tingnan natin, no? Pero siguro isang mahabang talakayan yan eh. Ano ba yung difference? Bakit ginamit yung term defense instead of war? Mahabang talakayan yan. Dinidiscuss ko yan sa klase ko sa National Defense College. Anong difference? Bakit naging Department of Defense yan from being the Department of War before the passage of the 1947 National Security Act? Mahabang talakayan yan.